Hey everyone, it's Salman Qureshi from the wonderful, beautiful, sunny Dubai. Yeah, that's right. We're rocking it here in 40 plus degrees. It's nice and hot and I'm sweating. Possibly it's dehydration. I don't know. I'll find out when I go to the doctors after I faint. But luckily we live in Dubai and everything is air conditioned, except I stepped out accidentally for 2 minutes and realized how hot it really is. One of the things I always get confused here is so many windows inside buildings and even your car. Everything's tinted here, right? So when you sometimes look out and you're in strong air-conditioned places where you're almost like chilly, all right? People kind of like really crank up the aircon here. And for a second, you just forget how hot it is outside, and you step out and bam, it just kind of like it slaps you. It's not, actually it doesn't. I'm lying. It kind of, for 2 seconds, it feels good because the sun, it feels nice and warm on your cold skin because you've just stepped out of like minus 15, because that's what they keep it at, I think, or it seems like that. And then the sun kind of just hits you, and for 2 seconds you're like, oh my God, this is perfect. Ah! Before you burn and turn into ashes or melt. Or it's a double punch. It's like the heat and the humidity. 1-2. 1-2, right. Yeah, right in your face. Anywho, it gets better at night because it's just one punch then. It's just the humidity. I've been gigging, and I did a gig with the Mad Cat Comedy Club. It's run by one of my friends, fellow comics, and a really good comic himself, Migdad Dohadwala. And it's always a good room, fun, kind of laid out. I always get a little annoyed with like gigs starting a bit later here than the designated time, but it's cool. It's what it is, and at the end of the night, I had a fun time. It was a good crowd out, and I got to see some of the other comics doing their bits, a lot of them working on new stuff. And, sometimes I don't like watching too much because it's only out of pure jealousy. No, it's more, I just don't want to be influenced about topics or, somewhere subconsciously pick up someone's material. It gets hard. But I ended up watching last night because I hadn't in a while, and it was fun. It was nice to see good stuff they were doing, really challenging themselves, and it made me kind of also go, oh my God, I've been so lazy. I hadn't gigged in a couple of months, right? Just out of being busy with other stuff, and with the podcast, with Salman Qureshi doing the podcast and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, the point was, it was just another like kick in the back about writing new things. And that's really important, right? Like as an artist, you got to keep challenging and creating yourselves, because that's where, as a comic, that's the true satisfaction, is when you can write a new joke and make it work. Because after a while, you create a bank of jokes that people like, and they're your safe bets. But it's also a safe place that you can run off to. And that is a challenge, That's a challenge. You get comfortable, and the audience will get bored after a while too. Obviously, if you've got a repeat audience, and so I'm trying to like look at stuff, and my problem is, I love creating jokes. I love writing stuff. I like thinking of new stuff. It's just right now I'm very uninspired, and I think part of it is just not having too many new experiences. I think comics need to travel more, just gig, tour, because that really forces you out to make new observations, new connections. And I guess that's how your brain works, right? Like it connects so many other things until you've kind of like created new stuff, new material. And that's really why I watch so much TV. It's to be, all right, no, I don't. That's laziness. So anyway, I'm going to renew my vows towards my comedy career and try to write more stuff that inspires me. I know it's kind of like a writer's block, and I really am trying to get over it. And there really is no excuse. I know some people are just more disciplined. I am terrible about it. I catch my fellow comics making the same excuse, and I go, listen, man, you just got to do it. You got to sit down and write stuff, and hopefully something will hit eventually. All right? Something's got to hit. And if it doesn't, I don't know. I think it comes in flows for me. Like I try, and then I'll have like a purple patch. But I think that try bit is a bit that you got to keep doing before you hit the purple patch. And then the purple patch ends, and then you go back to the same. The only way you screw yourself up is by not doing the try stuff. I think that could be a motto for life. Your motto for life. Motto. And just go, I gotta try until I succeed. Oh, wow, there is already an idiom like that. Okay, cool. All right, I'm late to the party. See, this is why I don't like overly being exposed to too much stuff, because then it's, see, subconsciously I use something I know and I thought I was being brilliant. Luckily I caught myself, and so did you, and now it's a public humiliation. Okay. All right, nice. Rishi and I are going to be bringing back, you know what, I'm excited, this is what's exciting me, later on in a couple of months, we're going to be bringing back our Bollywood improvised show. And I love doing that show because it was our kind of baby. And also it's Bollywood. It's always fun. And so if you haven't watched it, it's been very popular. We've constantly had to turn people away. And you know, because we're so good. We're just so good. We had to turn people away. I've always wanted to say that. And you know, what I like about it is that, or if you haven't watched it, you know, what happens is we create a Bollywood movie with suggestions from the audience, and we get an audience member to be our hero on stage. All right, the protagonist. And we build a whole thing around them, and there's dance involved and improv involved and a lot of shenanigans. I love the characters Ruji and I play. We're these directors, inept directors, trying to make this one last movie to save their studio. That's the gist of it, and it's really fun. And I was kind of disappointed. We did a really long run last time, 2.5 months, and the shows were full constantly. But I didn't, you know, the restrictions were still in place. We were still trying to be, you know, careful with the social distancing and everything, and that kind of took away from the intimacy of this kind of show, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first time around. It was just missing that, you know. And we're going to be going back to the old ways, the days of old when everybody was uncareful and full of germs, and we spread stuff that we shouldn't. And and yeah, so I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great. So if you are in Dubai, and eventually we're going to tour, go on tour with this show. We're working out dates for it, but if you want to catch it first, if you live in Dubai, keep a lookout on the Courtyard Playhouse website. You'll see the new dates up for it soon. October onwards. If I don't have them in front of me, I should know them. I'm doing them. Anyway, yeah. So do catch it, man. It's such a great show. We're also working on some other things to tour with. Urshi and I are looking at Europe and the States soon, and I'm really excited to start getting back on the road, taking our shows. It's always, you know, you want to know if your show's good enough to travel. It's not easy sometimes. So you just got to go. I hope audiences in other places will get it, and you know, that's why Mr. Bean is so popular. That's why Charlie Chaplin was probably popular, because they were able to connect with audiences everywhere. And what's that guy on TikTok, Kabi? I think that's one of his success secrets as well. So it's very cool when it happens, man. It's just a great feeling. That's me professionally. That's what's going on that side. On the dad's side, I've been having a lot. This is bad parenting, but I noticed, because Zion, my soon-to-be 4-year-old kid, he'll turn 4 end of November. I noticed his t-shirts have started getting a little tight around his tummy. because prior to it starting to get so hot that even hell's like, hey, we might send some people over, and that's so terrible. And so he hasn't he used to go to the park every day and do some stuff or something outdoors every day, and he hasn't been able to. He's been like a lot of the kids around here. It just is way too hot to go out, and he's young, so we've been trying to keep him busy indoors. But yeah, you don't get the same kind of exercise you do. Take him swimming a couple of times, but that the swimming thing, it's fun, but he's not like running laps in there, right? And even that, the pool eventually starts getting hot. We can't survive longer than half an hour. It's an outdoor pool. Maybe I got to time it better when the shades on. The sun's kind of creating some like there's some shade over it. Thing is, Zayan runs towards the area that has sun. He's attracted to that bit, and then he boils and goes, "All right, time to go home." But it was funny because his nanny Gerald, she put on a t-shirt that was I really, again, shouldn't be laughing at this, but I am because it's funny. She puts on this one of his t-shirts and she looks and goes, "Oh, no, we got to change that. He looks like Winnie the Pooh." You have to picture it, I mean, I wish I could put up a picture. Maybe I should have taken a picture publicly, but shame my kid. I'm not trying to fat shame him. It's just cute and funny at that age, anyway. And she changed his t-shirt. Then she was just like, I can't have him hanging out like this. So, yeah, the other thing in dad life that's been very interesting that I realized. So my wife, right? So she flew back to her home country in Scotland. She's in London right now with her family, and for various reasons we couldn't work out all of us going together. And Zayan ended up staying back with me. And I realized how much people my fear. I think they think I'm inept. How much they are worried about that. Like, it suddenly started creeping into everyone's conversation about the fact that Zayan has been left with me. Because first my wife kept going on about like keeping him safe and not letting him do some stuff that might put him in trouble, like get hurt. And I'm like, yeah. Obviously I'm gonna be careful with the kid, man. I always am. And it's like, well, I'm a pretty hands-on dad, to be honest. So I was really taken aback that this is how this is their view of my abilities. Because then my mom started, like, she called me up and she sent me a couple of messages saying, "Hey, listen, you got to take care of Zayan, make sure." And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm going to keep him busy. He's going to have a great time with me. I've kept my schedule as free as possible as well for him, And then my sister does it to me. And then this was the best. Gerald comes up to me and she says, "Sarah, I'll skip my weekend. I'll not take my day off this week so that I can stay with Zayan. He's going to be alone." And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, what have you guys been thinking about my parenting skills? This is kind of terrible, all right? I have managed him alone before, and I do everything for him. Well, obviously not. I do less with the nanny around, but Gerald helps out a lot. But I still was like, okay, come on. All right, like chill. I'm not gonna kill him. And now I've been extra careful because I'm like, man, if anything happens out, they'll all be like, "Oh, we knew it," right? So I'm just being super careful that nothing happens. Eventually, I had to push Gerald out. I was like, "Look, just go take your holiday. All right, just take your weekend off. Like, we'll be fine." And so far he's good, man. So far I think he's good. If anything, I'm the one that's stressed out and stuff. And I hope people will have more faith in my abilities. It did really kind of surprise me, take me back a little bit. Because I'll have a lot of my other guy friends who just became parents or about to become dads come to me for advice. Not gonna lie, well, actually they don't. I give it. I just realized that. I'm just like, hey, you're having a kid. Let me tell you everything about parenting that I know because I've raised one kid. And in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't push it down people's throats because every parenting experience is so different, isn't it? That's the truth of it. But the summer has given me a little bit of free time. I've been catching up on my shows, Netflixing and stuff, and every other app that I can think of. Disney Plus, OSN, I'm Apple Plus. I've covered it all. And one of the ones I really enjoyed watching was Uncoupled. It's on Netflix. Sarah and I finally got some time to watch a show together, and it was great. So we went through it so fast. It was one of those where you binge through and you're like, oh no, it's already over. We watch all the episodes. Although I think Netflix is doing the rest of the season or season 2 in Jan, because I think that's their new policy of releasing it in batches or something like that. I don't know. A lot of shows are doing that. And I had a chat with Rami, one of my friends, and he said, again, fellow comic improviser, one of the smartest guys I know, and he was saying it's better to release it weekly. And I kind of was like, no, I want to watch it all at one go. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's right, because then the show breathes more. You kind of allow it to fester in your mind a bit. You get to think about it a little bit during the week. But I'm just desperate, right? Funny enough, all my shows kind of are coming out on the same day weekly. So maybe that's what's annoying me. I don't have a midweek show. People, streamers, what are you doing, right? Release. If you are going to release it weekly, at least like split up the days, man. So we've got something every day to look forward to, because there's enough crap outside, oh my God, there's so much crap outside. But Uncoupled was, it wasn't brilliant stuff. It was a nice rom-com, light, breezy, kind of fun thing. I read one review where someone just shared it with me because after I told them it was good, they're like, but look at this review. It says, no, it's not great. And I'm like, I read through it and I was like, listen, they're approaching it like it's supposed to be a masterpiece, like it's Breaking Bad or, a serious show. And I'm like, some shows aren't meant to be just light and breezy. They're nitpicking on stuff that, dude, go watch another show then, right? NPH was amazing in it. Neil Patrick Harris, if you don't know that, I mean, what world are you living under? I've loved the guy since Doogie Howser. He's great, and he's brilliant in this show as well. In episode 1, there's this short kind of monologue he does is brilliant. Just watch it. It's a good show. He's a 40-year-old gay guy who is his guy leaves him for like after 17 years, and now he has to navigate the single life in New York. And it's fun. It's beautiful. Yeah, maybe it's about white privileged people as well, rich folks, but I enjoyed it. It's worth watching. And I think the characters initially that came across, I was like, it's going to be just stereotyped, shallow characters. They actually develop considerably, and you see other sides of them. So I'm excited to see how the show goes. I also watched, here's one that, there's some stuff I'm watching, like Surface. It's on Apple TV. First of all, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Gugu Batara. She's done a few things. I first caught her on Black Mirror. She was brilliant in that. What is a San Horino, something like that episode. And she's done some other stuff. She's brilliant. She's really good in it. My only problem with this is, it's just too long. It really was just a feature length erotic thriller kind of movie, and they've turned it into episodes. I'm on episode 4 now. The 5th episode is coming this Friday, and I just kind of go, man, I don't know if the twists and turns are really, I think I've guessed it already, and if I have guessed it, then that's exactly what I mean, right? Unless they have a real bombshell waiting. It's still all right, nothing great, but not the worst show. I wouldn't say I've wasted my time watching it, but the rest of this cast, like Oliver Jackson, Cohen's in it, Stephen James, they're just kind of wasted, I think. They don't have much. It's just too much like self-indulgent at points, or just like too much overthinking. Like, oh, we've got this mystery going on, and she might have, like, there's so many twists and turns, but also we're going to take a pause to let her think about how she feels about horses. Shit like that. Yeah, they tagged it like you don't know what to expect. I definitely was not expecting that kind of pause in there. So But like I said, did I waste my time? No, it didn't. It's one of those things that could have been sped up. It's the kind of stuff you look at and you go, this is why WhatsApp had to add that feature on the voice notes to speed up people talking, right? Some things just need to go a little bit faster than they did. And if you really ask me, the thing that did waste my time was this this movie on Netflix called Recurrence. It's like a Mexican movie, kind of well done, but predictable and not shocking anymore because, I don't know, I think Game of Thrones has really made it hard to shock us with stuff. Okay, though. You know what I'm really excited about, though? Is Industry. One episode's out. Again, they're releasing it weekly, and I'm like, oh no, I have to wait. But man, season 1 was awesome. Some of the main characters, they're again like they're shades. You're like, you hate them for some of them for their choices, then you like them and you feel bad for them, and so it's a real nice roller coaster. It's not one of those shows where it's Wall Street and all that, over the whole big money stuff, but it's not from top down. It's more from these interns who come in. And season 2, I've watched the first episode, and I have to say, it's already off to like a really great start. So I think, I'm really looking forward to what happens. The main characters, if you watch, I'm not throwing away, I'm not like, giving away some stuff, but very quickly, they kind of start off as friends, and then it ends on a bit of friction. So season 2 is starting off on that note, and all of them have these interesting stories lined up, coming along, and I'm really like looking at it going, this is definitely going to be good. And I like a little bit of like gray characters. Sometimes I like supporting, like, the ones who are kind of doing wrong stuff. Just in TV shows, says something about me, but just in TV shows, I kind of like the idea of like some of them getting away with it. So I'm going to see how this plays. But if you haven't, that's definitely one to watch, guys. And last, I got to say, football, the Premier League is back. And that's awesome because I know nothing about football, to be honest. But I play with friends a little bit, and I am trying to learn about the Premier League. It is interesting. And I have a team in the fantasy league, which I built on Google searches. That's the truth. So my results for week 1 were kind of middling. And I'm like, hey, so not too bad, right? Literally, whatever league I'm playing, I'm in the middle of it right now with a couple of friends. I'm in a couple of leagues with different friends. And that's interesting to me that you know nothing about soccer or the league or enough about the players to make really good choices. But I've managed to thank you, Google, to allow me to like create the right amount of team. Let's see how it plays out. It's a great league. I don't know. Let's see how it goes, right? So what? Even if I end up on top of my friends league, all it gives me is like a couple of months of talk time to put those guys down, and then it's back to another season. Oh, it's tough playing these fantasy leagues. All right. I'm going to do some research this time. I'm going to see how well I do. I'm going to make an effort this time. All right. So anyway, on that note, this has been great. You guys are awesome as always for listening. Do let me know what you guys think about the episode every time, and share it and blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. I'm going to head off until the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Or as a dog would say, woof.